picked up another bike. I got my first Rupp ever. So I'm gonna roll it in here and show it to you. Bet that's not what you were expecting when I said Rupp, was it? Let me get this thing put up in the stand here. It is a Rupp Scrambler Trail 90, obviously a CT70 clone. This bike's been in my neighborhood for 5 or 6 years. I've got a guy that he buys up stuff, and then twice a year he has a man sale where he sells boats and tools and trailers and, you know, bikes and all kinds of whatever he's accumulated, and he does that a couple times a year. Well, he had this bike. I'm not sure where he acquired it from. I saw it at one of his sales, like I said, 5 or 6 years ago, and it was a little overpriced, and so I didn't buy it. I let it go, and another neighbor of mine did purchase it. And he's had it for a few years, but now he's had some knee trouble, and he has a hard time kickstarting it. And so I guess it was nearly a year ago, maybe 8 months ago, something like that, he asked me if I was interested in purchasing the bike from him. And I'm like, yeah, we can work something out. And so we went back and forth over the months and never have done anything. Well, we were at a fish fry this past weekend, and I ran into him, and he said, hey, I'm getting ready to head to Florida for the winter. I need to do something about this bike. And I'm like, okay, what do you want for the bike? He said, $450. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. And then we talked. He said, no, I'll bring it over to you. And I'm like, oh, well, if you're going to deliver it, I'll do you one better. I'll give you $500 for the bike. So that's what I did. I bought a Rupp Scrambler Trail 90 for $500. I know it has run in the past, obviously, because he rode it around the neighborhood. He wasn't sure when the last time he started it. It's probably been over a year. Daggone phone. So that's a good place to stop. Let me stop you. Let me get it jacked up. We're going to work on see if we can get this thing to fire up today. Before we dig into the bike, let's take a little bit closer look at it and just see what we have. Now, I'm not going to pretend to know a lot about Rupp and the company that produced the mini bikes, the pull start mini bikes and the go-karts and snowmobiles and all that. But I don't know if this is associated to them or not. The reason I say that is this says Rupp Incorporated. It says it on the back of the seat also. And I was always under the impression that the bikes and so forth, that was Rupp Industries. And Rupp Industries stopped making bikes and so forth in the late 70s. I don't think they went into the 80s. So I don't know if this is, what the association between this Rupp and the old Rupp was. I can tell you this bike is a 2002 Lifan. And I know that from that tag right there. It's kind of faded, but it actually says manufacturer Lifan right there above my finger, and then it's got a 2002 date on it. You might not be able to see. So Lifan actually produced this in 2002, and then they've obviously sold it to someone who tagged it as a Rupp Scrambler. It is 86, where's it at? Yeah, 86 cc, 86. It is a manual, 4-speed manual. I think it's all down. Yeah, 4 speeds all down. You can tell someone already swapped out a swing arm. It's incredible to me how much this bike resembles that 2022 Ice Bear when it was brand new. Before I started modifying that bike, this bike looks almost identical to it. Of course, they're based on the 1990s Honda Trail 70, but you know, it's got the same rear fender and tail light and so forth. But anyway, so it's got the small tires, the 3.5 by 10s. I think someone has hacked it a little bit. I believe it should have had turn signals, which it's got no turn signals on it. It also doesn't have a key. Or I can't find a key. Haven't seen a key. Look, they've just got a plastic plug in there. But they've got a steering lock. So it tells me there was a key with it at some point. So I don't know if there's a key switch in there somewhere. The seat doesn't have a latch either. You know that wouldn't have been, even though, so yeah, so somebody's taken that off. Paint's still in good shape. I kind of looked at that and thought, okay, had there ever been screws in there before? But I think there has. And so they lost the key or did something and did away with it. It's missing a battery box. You know, oh, that's the guts to the air cleaner. Missing a battery box, but I mean, it does have, like, there's a turn signal wire, that orange and this blue right here. Those are turn signal wires, and that's the ground for the, yeah, it is double female. That's the ground for the rear turn signals. So I'm guessing it just has wired straight. You know, it does have an on-off switch up here, a kill and a run switch. So I guess that's how you shut it off. I didn't get to talk to my neighbor who had it, just that I bought it off of, who's had it recently. We were gone last night, and when I got home, it was just sitting in my garage, or sitting on my driveway up against my garage door. So I haven't spoken with him. So anyway, I'm gonna put you guys back in the tripod. We're going to see if we can get it to fire off. How many miles does it say? I can't see it. 475, and I think that is, yeah, it says it's a mile per hour speedometer. So 2002, and it's got 400 and some odd miles. All right, let's get set up, see if we can get it to run. Well, I guess the first thing we need to do is find out if we've got any spark to the plug. And if not, figure out why we don't. If we have to do something with a key switch or whatever. All right, I'm gonna go kill the light. And let's zoom you guys in on a plug. Oh yeah, it's got good fire. Not sure if you guys can see that or not, but let's hit the kill switch up here. Turn that. Okay, so that killed, that does work. It killed fire. So that's how we're shutting it. That's how we're turning it on and off, is with the kill switch up there. So that's good. All right, let's turn the lights back on. Grab a little Go Juice here. Back you guys back up. Let's see what happens. Well, it ran long enough until we burned off the starter fluid. All right. I don't know if you guys are probably not looking up high enough. It's got a cable operated choke on a lever up here, which looks like it's missing some hardware and falling off. But from the look of the discoloration around top of here and on the carb, it looks like the carb's been leaking and kind of rough. Let's pull a fuel line. Huh, that's interesting. It's only got one fuel line coming from the tank. I wonder if the tank only has one outlet or if they've got it split somewhere. I'm going to assume that's off. Let's see if we're getting any fuel from it, from the tank at all. Well, something dribbled out. Okay, so we're getting fuel. So the carburetor probably needs cleaned since it's not starting. All right, I'm going to clean up the mess I just made here and yank this carburetor. Get all that off of there, and let's, does it have screws? Oh, it actually does have screws to take the bowl off, so that's good. It's not the kind that you're not supposed to mess with. So let me get that carburetor yanked off of there, and we'll sit on the bench and clean it out. So I've got the bolts out of the carburetor. Oh, that just come off the... Boy, those rubber parts are stiff. They're hard. All right, what do we have to do for this choke? How do we get that off of there? We're going to have to take this little clamp loose, and then if you rotate it, it looks like just like a clutch lever or brake lever. It's got a little slot that the cable will come out. There we go. Now let's see what the inside of this thing looks like. Feels like it's full of gas or fuel. It's kind of dirty too. Got a little bit of gunk in it. More than likely, right here is our culprit. And that does seem to be plugged. This typically has such a large hole in it that it hardly ever gets plugged, but it might be. Got an old welders. Yeah, that one's fine. Little brush here. It's got some steel bristles that I found are pretty good for. Yeah, this one's. I don't know if you're looking up that high. Yep, I'm gonna have to spend a little time, guys, and get this jet. This jet's plugged up. Yep. All right, I'm gonna work on that. I got to get this unplugged, get it cleaned out, and then hopefully we can put it back together and get it to go. All right, so I'm pretty pleased that after a few attempts, I was able to get the wire all the way through, and I believe I have that cleaned out. So let's pull that wire out of there. Let's see if we can put it back together and get this thing to run on its own without having to feed it fuel. You know what, before we go too far, let's that all looks good. I didn't pull out the air screw, mixture screw. I'm gonna leave everything else set just the way it was, because, you know, like I said, it was probably running when it was put away. Just sitting. All right. Which way did you go on? Look like you went. Looks like you went like that. I got it clocked wrong. There we go. The newer ones, newer clones, they don't let you take this bowl off. They've got screws that don't have any kind of slots or anything. You have to get kind of creative to get the screws out. Okay. Back the camera up. Let you. Let's put this cable back in here. Slides going all the way down. Yep, looks like it's good. Oh, the throttle's nice and snappy. That's good. Uh-oh. Ha! I looked at the carb and I was missing the O-ring right there. It's stuck to the back of that plastic piece. Let's push that back in there. Okay. Okay, we're going to trust. We're going to put a lot of faith in the fuel that's in the tank. Yeah, like I said, I only see one line coming out of the tank. All right, let's turn that on. Let that refill the bowl. Yeah, don't worry about that. Give it a second here. Well, what do you think? No choke. That's on. Oh, thought we had something. Yeah, let's give it a little choke, maybe. See if she'll scream wide open. Oh, don't die. Curious if we have any kind of lights or anything. They do. Oh, there it came. There it came on. Yeah, it's got both headlight and tail light. It's got a brake light. Yep. we've got something shorting out in the frame. When I put the when I hit the brake pedal, I'm hearing what almost sounds like a small horn inside. I don't know if it's the flasher. I bet it is. Hang on, let's. Too low. That's the old flasher from the turn signals. Let's see if that, I don't know if you guys can hear that or not. Yeah, it went away now. But we lost our brake light. Interesting. The brake light power is run through the flasher. Yeah, flashing. Look at that. Guys, you never know what you're going to find when you work on these old bikes. So the brake light actually flashes. You know what? I'm actually not. I'm okay with that. So if you hit, like there's a switch up on the handlebars that actually turns all the power off to the lights. It has like a parking light setting, and then the headlight. Yeah, in the totally off setting, the brake light, it shuts the brake lights down also. Well, we probably ought to check and make sure that the transmission's good. Let's get it down off the table. Let's get it down off the table and take it outside, and let's run it through the gears and make sure everything's okay. Well, let's see if it runs, and it rides anyway. We know it runs. See if the transmission works. Our foot brake pedal is completely out of adjustment. So the odometer's working, but the speedometer's not. The bike's been crashed. Do we run out of gas? Died. The bike has been crashed, and the headlight is all pushed over, and it's actually broken the lens. I wonder if the needle is stuck and not allowed to move, because the odometer is actually racking up some mileage. let's take it back inside. Let's take a look at a couple things. We need to fix that. We've got a brake we need to adjust, and we need to look at that speedometer. We've got a kickstand that's broke too. All right, let's take it inside. Okay, the brake adjustment's pretty easy. That's just a matter of, you know, adjusting down here so we don't have so much slack in the pedal. But the speedometer, I'd really like the speedometer work. And I think what's happening, obviously the bike has been down. You can see that the headlight is off to the right. It's been pushed to the right here, to the left side of the bike. And the speedometer has made contact with the handlebar, and it broke the lens. Amazing, it's got a glass lens, not a plastic. But see that light gray stripe going across there? See how about right below my finger there is a dip in it? And I think it's putting pressure on that needle and not allowing that needle to move. It's actually not even all the way down to 0, you can see. I think that the piece that's underneath this glass is holding the needle in place. I think speedometer would work if we could get that loose. So I'm gonna loosen up the headlight, see if we can rotate it enough forward that maybe we can get some of that out of there. I really hope I don't have to take the whole headlight off and mess with all that wiring. And oh, that one was loose. Yeah. What do I want to do here? I need to be able to get underneath there to pry that little piece up without trashing the entire speedometer. Okay, maybe we can, let's get a little screwdriver here. How to get you guys in place so you can see what I'm going to try and do. This plastic piece, you can see that it's missing from here to here. And there is some broken glass. If I take that off of there, we're going to lose the whole thing, aren't I? I wonder if I've got another old speedometer. Now it's this piece right here that I think is actually causing the problem. It's got a bend in it. Okay, and the speedometer did settle down to 0 now. Okay, I'm going to do a quick brake adjustment. Down there on that. And then I'm going to take it out for a ride and see if the speedometer works. If the speedometer works, then we got to figure out a way to try and fix that glass. Do we have any adjustment left here? Yeah, we got some. Well, that seems to be a lot better. Okay, we're not going to film it. I'm going to take you out there. I'm going to take it out again and do a quick spin around the lot and see if that speedometer needle does in fact move now that we've got pressure off of it. And then we'll bring it back in and either try and figure out some way of putting a new lens in it. Yeah, because I don't want to take out the original speedometer. Yeah, all right, let's see if it works first. Yay, success. So that did in fact get our speedometer to work. Now I want to, before I tackle that speedometer, I'm going to see if I can get the headlight to straighten up so it's not all pushed over to one side. Take that out of there. Somewhere. They like tried to glue it in there or do something. I'm not sure what they've done there. All right. Don't break the headlight. Oh yeah, that's better. Oh, that's much better. Yeah, don't tighten that up too tight because we still need to tackle this. All right, let me see if I can find an old speedometer that maybe we can rob some parts off of. Okay, I've got an old, cheapy, inaccurate type speedometer. I think you can pull this rubber ring down. Oh, yeah. Aha. Just like that. Now, let's hope that this one works in a similar fashion. You know what? I'm just gonna, I may have to pull it up out of there. I may have to wind up taking that headlight off so I can get that speedometer out of there. I don't have to get it all the way out. I just need to get it up far enough to there's the bent piece that was holding the needle in place. Well, I don't think that one's held on there the same way. But maybe some Gorilla Glue or something. No, it might. Oh, don't fall down in there. I felt like this side popped down on it. This one did not. There it did. Ha ha! Yes! Probably should have cleaned the plastic before I Put it on there. Yay! I think that'll work. And I'm quite all right sacrificing the lens on this one. Okay. I need to put the headlight back in it. Tighten all that down. The other thing I don't like is no matter how much you tighten this knob down, that handlebar will not tighten up. And I think if I take it out and can shorten up some of the length of the handlebar, so I think what's happening, the handlebar is bottoming out in the holder before it can tighten up, and it, you know, the knob just can't pull it any closer. I'll take you out of the holder for a second. Okay, see how the threads are recessed back up in there? You got almost 1/4 of an inch of this tube before you get back to the threads. I'm gonna take a cutoff wheel and I'm gonna trim that back just a little bit, because I think my distance here is too long and this end is hitting on the inside there before it can ever tighten it down. So I'm gonna go get a cutoff wheel and trim that off. I don't know if you can see it or not. See how I trimmed that? I trimmed that back. Now we're almost flush up there. Back you up a little bit. And that mod doesn't mess with the threads at all. We're just trimming off a little bit of excess off of the handlebars. That's better. Still not perfect, but definitely better. Oh yeah, much better. Yeah, and it still has a little bit of movement in it, but all right, it is what it is. We're just gonna go with it. Okay, I think I'm down to putting a headlight back in it, and I need to weld on the kickstand. When it was left at my house, the kickstand was up underneath the strap on the seat. So, oh, there it is. I didn't see the post because of that heel toe shifter. So yeah, we'll have to weld that on there and then put a spring on it. So I'm not going to do that here since I've spilled so much gas on that table. I'm going to roll it in to the other part of the shop and weld that, and then I will bring you guys back and we will wrap up this video. All right, everybody. I really appreciate you tuning in and watching today's show. This was a super simple fix. Little bike just needed the carburetor cleaned, and then we did a few other little things to it. That speedometer, I think I mistakenly said that was glass. It was plastic. I thought it really was glass until I got picking up the pieces, and that lens was just a piece of plastic, just like the one we put in it. You can see I put a pod filter on it, on the carburetor, and shortened the fuel line. You know, we adjusted a brake. I put a couple washers between the knob and the handlebar holder, and that really tightened up that handlebar. The other one had it, and it seemed to be in good shape. So it runs and rides really well. It's geared super low. It's got like a 42 tooth rear sprocket. I did not count the front. I'm going to guess it's probably no more than a 14 at best. but it shifts smoothly. It's a wheeling machine. Nice little bike. So I appreciate you kind of watching and following along. If anybody knows anything about the Rupp Scrambler, let me know, make a comment. Like I said, I'm not pretending to know much about Rupps myself, but from a little bit that I got on the internet and looked, this thing is kind of an odd duck. So 2002, made by Lifan. So anyway, one last thing a couple things, I guess, before I sign off for today. One, thank you. We are topping 3,500 subscribers for the channel, and really appreciate that. It's growing a couple hundred subscribers each month, and that's a lot of fun. So welcome to anybody that's new and just joined us in the last few weeks. Two, if you haven't figured out yet, my shop here is in a little town of Martinsville, Indiana. And this coming weekend, this video will probably post on Thursday, October 6th, and on Saturday, October 8th, there is a car truck, and motorcycle show in the little town of Martinsville, Indiana. Each year in the fall, they hold a festival called the Fall Foliage Festival, because we get leaves turn, and it's a kind of a destination spot for people who are looking at leaves here in Nashville, Indiana. We're located just north of Nashville, Indiana, northwest, I guess, a little bit. But anyway, we have this festival, and part of it is a car show. The car show is actually held right next door to my shop at a middle school here in Martinsville. And I think it's typically well attended by, people who are entered cars and so forth, trucks, and then people who come and visit. But here's what I'm throwing out. If you're in my general viewing area of Martinsville, Indiana, and you want to come by and hang out at the shop on Saturday, October the 8th, the car show is from 9 till 2, so I probably won't be here any later than 2, but on Saturday, October 8th, if you want to come over to the shop, hang out, maybe walk over and see the car show, do those sorts of things, feel free to do that. Just hit me up if you need an exact address of where I'm at. You can send me an email at ct70help@gmail.com, and I will get you an address and let you know kind of where we're at. So anyway, appreciate you following along. Appreciate you watching the Rupp Scrambler. Got any information on it? Let me know. Thanks.